Beautiful people, this is my new life right now when it comes to brofrot and all puff puff, and I am really loving it. I don't fry my dough the same day as I make it. I do it the night before. I wake up the next morning and all I have to do is to fry my puff. You may have seen that in my previous brofrot video, but this time I'm using banana. These bananas, they look this way, but they are very ripe, okay? Even though they look green, they are ripe. I'll go ahead and mash it. While I was mashing it, I'm like, you know what? I've had this yeast for a while, so I just wanted to prove it. Proving your yeast, you just make sure that your yeast is active, else you go through the process and then your dough will not rise, okay? So it's not compulsory, but I mean, this yeast has been there for a while, so I just wanted to be sure. I added some sugar and salt to the banana. This time, this particular banana that I'm using is sweet. You see it's as green as that. It's very, very sweet. So that's how come I added just a little sugar. Grated some nutmeg, and then I'm adding some egg. Egg here is optional. If you do not want that, you can omit that. I'll also add in some evaporated milk, which is what I had on that day, and then I'll just go ahead and also mix that nicely. Once that is thoroughly mixed, I'll just empty into my bowl the one that I'll be mixing the puff in there. And then here is our yeast. You know, you see that on top of it shows that it's nicely active, and once you use it, your dough will rise. Now go ahead and sieve my flour. I sieve my flour all the time because of past experiences of finding worms in my flour, okay? And it also makes it easy for you to stir or mix your ingredients when you sift or your flour. So I'll just go ahead and then mix it, and then I don't like my puff puff to be, or my brofrot to be very light. I'll give you the reason as time goes on, okay, as we go on along the video. So all I needed to do was to use my fork to mix this, and then once it was done, I'll just cover it and keep it in my fridge overnight, my refrigerator overnight. And this is the next day. Here we are, and I'm just bringing everything. I'll just let it cool. I'll take it out and then let the temperature get back to room temperature. That way I don't have to fry it for a long time. You know, when it's extra cold, you may need to fry it for a long time. Now this is another way I do it. Sorry about the quality of this particular video. So this time, you see, I didn't even prove my yeast because I had trust in it. I mashed this banana, added a lot more sugar than the first time, added some salt. This time I'm using milk powder because that is what I had. Also using some egg. I'll just go ahead and mix everything up with my whisk. So I'm showing various ways by which you can do this. And this time, because the banana is not very ripe, I added water. If you notice, the first one I didn't add any water. The only water that went in there was the one that I used to prove the yeast, which was really, really little. It wasn't even up to a cup. So once I'm done mixing all of that, I'll just add in my flour, mix it again with my fork, cover it. And one important thing I didn't mention in the first mixture is that after covering it, I just use my fork to make some holes in there, because I've had experiences of spillover in the fridge. You wake up and then the thing will rise and it's pouring out, okay? But if you use the fork to make some holes in there, this is how it's going to be. Okay, the air will make sure that it is suppressed. And so again, this is the next morning. I wake up first and I take it out and I let it sit, and while I do other things, and then I just come back and fry it. You know, this has made life so easy for me. You know, early morning you wake up, everybody's in a hurry, going to work, going to school and all of that. So this actually makes things very, very easy for me. Okay, so that's how come I'm insisting on that, like overnight puff puff dough. Please give this a try, and it tastes even great. Now if you look at my texture, okay, if you have a very wet dough, the honest truth is that frying it or dropping it is very easy. When you are dropping it in your oil, it's very, very easy. Now this one takes like a lot more effort to drop it. However, when you are done frying it, you end up with, you know, a dough puff puff that is looking more like the dry puff puff. You get it? If you add a lot of water, after some time, maybe some few minutes after you are done frying it, you will notice that it will shrink. Yeah, yeah. So I hope you observe the way I am dropping it in. Also, when you are dropping it in, make sure you leave some breathing space, because when you are dropping, it may seem as though, oh, there's a lot of space for you to add more, but if you do not leave enough space, by the time they start, frying, you notice that the rice, they'll fill up the saucepan and there's no space for them to really fry nicely. So even this one, I overpacked it. I overpacked it because I looked at the dough that was left. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to fry this the second time. So yes, at a point, some of them were cooked. I took them out, and as you can see, these ones are breathing nicely in the oil and are being able to turn around nicely. So that is that. So this was the second one that I fried. So this particular one, the banana wasn't too ripe, and you can see the texture. You can look at it. Honestly, it doesn't even look like you've even added banana, and the taste is just so good, but it doesn't look like you've added banana. And this is it. As you can see, it is compact. It's there's no air in it. And this is the next day. Okay, this is leftover the next day. Usually if it's just one day, I don't even keep it in the fridge. So this was not in the fridge. I just tied it in plastic, and look at how it is all nicely. It has not shrunk. If you add in a lot of water, I mean, it's edible and everything, but it will not look as compact as this. Okay, it will shrink. So that's just the difference. And I feel like that also may soak up more oil. I'm not sure about that one, but yeah. So this is the one that is really ripe. I fried that as well, and I want you to see the difference that you get. And even when you use the very, very, very overripe ones, like that one also gives you a different consistency and texture. So if you can observe me, I can see the difference. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see the difference, but if you look at this one, you can see the banana. If you're a banana person, you make banana cake, you make stuff with banana, you notice like there are these strands or these things that you see on the banana, on the pastry that you make. Okay, and that is what you are going to have with this particular one. So you can see this one, can visibly see some of the banana in there. Yeah, so basically that's the difference. And the good thing about making this puff puff dough this way is that even if you don't fry everything the next day, so this particular one, I didn't fry it everything that day. I covered it again with a cling film, and the next day, this is how it's looking for you to fry it again. I have kept it in the fridge for 2 days. I hope that makes sense. So one dough, after frying, I covered it and kept it again in my fridge, and then the following day I'm able to use it. So that's 2 days in the fridge. How amazing is that? Thank you for watching.